My first hunting experience was out of a climbing tree stand. My stepdad would either take me to a friend of his land or we'd go out to some public ground somewhere. He'd point to a tree and just tell me to climb. This climbing tree stand was, I think it was old whenever I was a teenager, so it was kind of old. It was heavy, it was clunky, and it was very uncomfortable. You sat basically on top of a board across it, and the way it adjusted, it used this metal like boomerang shape on it. It's just a terrible thing to have to adjust. Now, even though it sucked, it kind of holds a very special place in my hunting life because I learned so much out of it, mostly from doing stupid stuff with it. Now I know that saddle hunting is kind of trying to take the place of climbing tree stands. Saddle hunting, it is a lot more lightweight. You can be a little more versatile with it, but I don't think climbing tree stands are going to go anywhere because there are people out there, they just don't want to hunt in a saddle facing the tree. They just don't think it sounds comfortable, whatever. So in this video, we're going to go over 4 climbing tree stand tips for those of you who want to stick to the old fashioned. But before we get into these tips, do me a favor, and if this is your first time on my channel, hit that subscribe button and make sure you click that bell icon so you can be notified every time I upload a video. Now this goes beyond just trying to pick a straight tree without any limbs on it so you can actually use your climbing tree stand. You need to pick a tree that does not have a smooth bark on it. Like a sycamore has a very smooth bark, a very dense bark, and it may not allow your climbing tree stand to get some bite into it, so it really seats it on there. Speaking from experience, you can get up into that tree, think that you're seated properly, and then slide down a few inches once you're up there feeling good, and it is absolutely terrifying. And because you have to find a tree that is straight without any limbs, you might struggle finding a good tree that also provides cover, and that's why you should look for clusters of trees. So you can use that one tree without any limbs to climb up on, and then the trees around it can provide cover with the limbs from them. And the second climbing tree stand tip is to get up that tree with the fewest number of climbs possible. Climbing tree stands tend to be kind of noisy. They scrape the bark all the way up, they can squeak, and if you are out of shape, you might grunt with every inch you climb up that tree. And if that's the case, you probably ought to spend some time in the gym. How I would use the climbing tree stand is I would have that top platform above my shoulders. So then as I go up and I will pull myself up into a squatted position, and then I would do it again. And I'm average height, 5'11", so I would get to my desired height in like 3 pulls, maybe 4, depending on how high I needed to get. But you get up there a lot quicker. Now, if you don't feel comfortable doing it, it doesn't seem safe to you, or maybe you just can't do it, you've got some physical impairment that doesn't allow you to do something like that, then obviously don't do anything you're not comfortable with, you don't feel safe with. But the point is you need to try to get up that tree as quietly and quickly as you can. Sometimes you cannot help but scrape the bark with that tree stand. Even the newer ones that have, the nylon, or not nylon, the rubber coating around the chain or whatever it is, they still make noise. Now, it's not so much that you're making noise because you can't help it, it's how long you're making that noise. If you get up there real quick, the noise dissipates and it's fine. So you just want to minimize the number of times you're making noise while you're climbing that tree stand. So get up there with the fewest climbs possible. Now you just don't want to inchworm your way up there and move up just a little bit of it, an inch at a time. So for one, you're probably gonna get really worn out. 2, you're probably making a lot more noise than you really think you are by doing it that way. So just get up that tree and get situated. And the third tip is very important. You need to make sure that your top platform and your bottom platform are tied together somehow. I have lost that bottom platform when I was trying to climb more times than I care to admit, especially with that older tree stand. It was a lot clunkier, a lot heavier. It had this just nylon, like really flimsy bungee cord thing to strap your feet into when you're climbing. So you'd climb up and it would just slip right off, go straight to the base of the tree. Just trust me when I say that bear hugging a tree and sliding down is not fun. So if you tie your platforms together, leaving enough room for how big your climbs are, if something like that were to happen, it doesn't go straight to the bottom of the tree. You can sit yourself up on that top platform, pull the bottom platform up, making a crap ton of noise, but at least you're safe. You can get everything repositioned, and then you don't have to hopefully inch your way down. Hopefully you do inch your way down. You don't just get down to the bottom really fast, but just tie everything together so you don't lose it and you can avoid those situations that I experienced. And the fourth climbing tree stand tip is sort of related to the last one, but you need to make sure that you always have extra clips with you. So the trick to using a climbing tree stand and making it more comfortable is you have to set that platform just right. So when you get up to where you're sitting, your platforms are level. And sometimes you don't get it right on the first try. Actually, a lot of times you don't get it right on the first try. And so in those situations, you have 3 options. 1, you just deal with it, which is what I did a lot of the times. Or 2, if it's bad enough, you can climb down, readjust, and climb back up. Or 3, you can, I don't advise this, but you'll probably do it, is you can adjust it while you're up in the tree. So I've done that. I've adjusted it up to the top, gotten away with it a few times, but there are 2 instances in particular where I didn't get away with it. The first time is the top platform was the one that was off, and so I tried to adjust it, dropped the clip. This was on a newer platform, so it wasn't as heavy, but I dropped the clip, no other way to adjust it, so I spent that entire hunt sitting on the bottom platform, and then I had to bear hug my way down that tree. The second time, and the last time I tried to adjust it on the tree, is I tried to adjust the bottom platform and lost the bottom platform. So I sat there the rest of the hunt, a little more comfortable than that last time, but getting down was just absolutely the worst experience I've ever had. And so while I don't recommend or condone that you adjust your platforms up in the tree, if you're going to do it, make sure you have plenty of clips so you're not stuck up there either sitting on the bottom platform or without a bottom platform altogether. And so with the season coming up very fast, if not open already where you are, you might want to check out some of these other videos over here so you can learn some more mistakes or some tips and tricks so you can be successful this year. And if you've got any more climbing tree stand tips, some mistakes, experiences you've had, make sure you leave those down in the comments below so you can help other people avoid those in their future. Hit that like button if you like this video. Share it if you found it helpful, and make sure that you are subscribed so you can stay informed.